What is a safety tip everyone should know about? Never mix cleaning products. Never mix bleach with anything but water. Edit: there are chemicals that can be safely mixed with bleach, but unless you are absolutely 100% sure, don't do it. You could be accidentally violating the Geneva Conventions and getting yourself killed with toxic gas. Peggy Hill said too. Never ever sneak up behind a horse, ever. Stupid short story. When I grabbed my pony from the field the other day, she's facing me, watching the road. All the other mares are in a row, napping in the sun, facing her, and more or less facing away from me. We have a double latch on the field fence, a chain plus another latch. It took opening both latches, opening and closing the physical gate, and calling my mare's name for the other mares to wake up and scatter, buck farting around. They were startled enough that I could have easily been knocked over if I hadn't been sure to wake them up before getting within a dozen feet of them. The moral of the story: when horses feel safe they pay far less attention and act like idiots when startled. Also, an upright horse isn't necessarily awake. If your child goes missing in your home, first check any spots that would be dangerous for them to be, near water heaters, sump pumps etc., then check their common hiding spots. Edit: wow. Thank you for the awards. Check all cars. Children occasionally climb into cars then can't get out because of child locks in the backseat. Young kids especially don't think to try every door. That is a portion of hot car deaths every year. A dad was arrested last year, later released, when his kids walked out of the house while he napped, got into his truck, and died. Everyone blamed him and a neighbor's porch camera caught the kids on tape. Edit: and he was charged and sentenced a few months ago for neglect because he had done drugs the night before, so he was sleeping while the kids were awake to escape. Fox23.com. A falling knife has no handle. Similarly, a falling tin can is all lid. I have a gnarly scar down one finger where I grabbed a falling can and the side of the lid sliced my finger open top to bottom, needed 5 stitches. Oh yikes. My drunk ass decided to stick my fingers in the mouth of a few, edit beer, cans to clean up. This works with bottles, not cans. Got a nice curved scar right around my fingernail. Check and clean out the lint collector in your dryer regularly. Clean the lint trap after every cycle. But also clean out the full dryer duct at least once a year. Tons of it gets past the trap and gets stuck in the ducts, building up like plaque in an artery. It's one of the leading causes of house fires. You can buy cheap brush kits from Amazon that connect to your electric drill. Dryer lint is extremely flammable. A tiny piece can start a raging wood fire pit in about 20 seconds. Edit: for those asking how to clean the duct, there are plenty of videos online. Here's a good one. When you cut wood or metal, the chips fly faster than you are able to blink. Edit: thanks for the awards, strangers. Eye surgery is far more expensive than safety glasses. Here is a pro tip. Eyeglass material counts. Some cheap eyewear will shatter or not stop anything. The good ones will deform and are made of polycarbonate. I think 3 meters makes a good trustworthy one. Sharp knives are usually safer to use. The only thing a dull knife will cut is you. Additional to this, if you happen to cut yourself by accident, an injury heals faster from a sharp blade versus a dull blade. Source: I work in kitchens. Always prepare for your car to break down in the middle of nowhere. Bring warm clothes, water, a charged phone etc. Always prepare to be stranded. But you live in a city and never go to the middle of nowhere? Doesn't matter. Many things could happen that would leave you stranded with potentially no access to communications or anything else. Keep a towel, hand warmers, flashlight, and water at the very least. Towels are exceptionally useful tools. A towel is just about the most massively useful thing an interstellar hitchhiker can carry. If you are the passenger in a car with airbags, never put your feet on the dash. With or without airbags, don't do it. Level 1 trauma hospital worker here. Seen a fatality of a passenger who had their legs on the dash during the collision. It literally shoved their broken leg back into them and their own leg bone shard pierced their chest cavity and heart. Just don't do it. My ex would always place her feet and lower legs on the dash, or hang an ankle out by the mirror, and I always would tell her stop, make her take her feet down. I'd pull over and refuse to drive, because I've seen what happens firsthand. My ex is now a radiographer, and doesn't put her feet on the dash anymore. It took her having to image exactly one person who had been in a wreck like that to get her to stop. Edit, here is an example. Kinda NSFW, as X-ray of injury could be bad for someone. Ike. WCNC.com. If you're wondering if maybe you should be wearing safety gear, glasses, helmet, gloves, hard hat, the answer is always yes. Edit, for all the folks replying with first-hand accounts, I'm glad you are all mostly okay. This is a good one. My father used to say that if you're wondering if it's dark enough to turn on your headlights, the answer is always yes. Worked in a CNC machine shop. I was told the top 3 rules were 1. Know where the emergency stop button is on every machine. 2. If you wouldn't touch it with your dick, don't touch it with your finger. 3. If something falls, it hits the floor, don't try to catch anything falling. One more, working around any spinning machinery with gloves, loose-fitting clothes or hair is asking for very serious injury. My ID badge got caught on something at work once. I realized that, with the angle I was at, there was no way for me to reach to get it out. Brief moment of panic, and then the back of the lanyard came undone. I had forgotten they're designed to come apart if you tug on them. That was the day I realized why they're designed that way. I never complained about mine coming undone accidentally again after that. I mostly work in it stuff but occasionally have to go out on an industrial floor. I refuse to wear the company lanyard. It doesn't have any break free on it. Everyone gave me shit about it because it seemed like something nobody ever had to worry about. Until the one guy got caught on the conveyor. He was okay, because somebody pulled the emergency stop rope, but after that, everyone who wore a badge either had to have a breakaway lanyard, or a badge holder that went on the bicep. Good for you for keeping yourself safe. Safety rules are written in blood. It is better to correct an unsafe friend than to bury one. I tried so hard to try and stop a friend from seeing if he could jump an entire flight of stairs. He almost launched me down at trying to push past me. I held him back a lot, but he was determined and I wasn't going to get ducked up on his account. He broke the shit out of his ankles. Do not put objects in the driver's foot space. Yep, once had a tennis ball run under my brake pedal. The sheer panic I felt in that microsecond was a big lesson. If everybody else is staying on the beach, don't go running into the ocean. They might all be staying on the beach for a reason. Like jellyfish. I learned the hard way so you don't have to. The ocean near where I live is extremely dangerous. It's rough and cold year round, with big waves close to the beach. Going in past your ankles is a risk, and going in up to your knees is seriously dangerous. But every so often there are still stories like person from out of town visits, tries to swim surf, immediately drowns. I'm a good swimmer. Turn your music down. I promise you will not like tinnitus. Never swim in an unknown water body. Adding to this, if the water isn't crystal clear and you don't know exactly how deep it is, never dive in. People used to pier jump and cliff dive a lot where I grew up, and they occasionally got seriously hurt or died hitting things in into the water or not realizing it wasn't deep enough when it wasn't high tide. Same with jumping off small bridges. You could land on a stray shopping cart for all you know. Happened to my older brother. Jumped off a small bridge at a popular swimming hole, went out with his friends. Slashed his chest and tore his bicep on a piece of rebar sticking out of a concrete block in the water. Managed to get to the hospital and have it treated in time, and he ended up with no long-term damage, but could easily have gone much worse than it did. Never get into a vehicle if someone is trying to kidnap you. If you can help it, it's better to fight and scream as much as you can, because once you get in the vehicle your chances of survival go down significantly. One of the few occasions where you should absolutely fight a gun or knife, assuming you can't run away. Better to get stabbed or even shot at a place you might receive treatment than wind up unharmed at a second location where worse things likely await. When boiling a pot of water, turn the handle inwards towards the center of the stove counter. That way somebody, especially a kid, won't come by and knock it over or grab it and pull it over on themselves. Oil too. I've seen someone get burned because he was frying something and he knocked the handle that was pointing out.